To most people, the mountain pine beetle is known only as a force of evil sweeping across North America. With climate change increasing the beetle's geographic range and quickening its life cycle, it has killed millions of acres of forests. But we cannot blame this poor little insect. After all, it's just living out its life cycle as it has done for millions of years. Although the mountain pine beetle is hated and feared among local citizens, it has also gotten the attention of Montana scientists, who are interested in its evolutionary history and its fascinating symbiosis with blue-stain fungus. The mountain pine beetle is one of 7,500 species in a subfamily of weevils, most of which have symbioses with fungi. These symbioses vary in their degree of dependence, from completely independent to fully dependent. Mountain pine beetles fall in the middle. They feed on both fungi and wood. Another group, the ambrosia beetles, have gone all the way. 100% of their diet consists of fungi. And on the opposite end of the spectrum are bark beetle species that couldn't care less about fungi. They simply carry them around as little microbial hitchhikers. This variation in dependence between beetles and their fungi allow for different life histories. In the case of mountain pine beetles, they are limited to feeding on a tree's outer section, just below the bark, called the phloem. As the larvae grow and mature, they eat the blue-stain fungus along with the phloem. Ambrosia beetles have a slightly different tactic. Instead of staying in the phloem, they can burrow deep inside the tree, where the fungi extract all their nutrients for them. But there's a catch. Once a beetle and fungus become dependent, there's no turning back. Codependence is irreversible. Think of it as an evolutionary marriage. As you spend more time together, you rely more and more on your partner, to the point where you cannot live without one another. If one of you dies, the other is doomed as well. The changing environment is putting these beetle-fungi partnerships to the test, and the beetle's degree of dependence on fungi could dictate their future. This variation is the focus of the current study in Montana, where researchers are comparing the DNA of 3 fungal species associated with beetles. One is the symbiont of the mountain pine beetle, and the other 2 are symbionts of ambrosia beetles. This is the very first comparative study of beetle-associated fungi, so the data will undoubtedly answer some important questions. What happens on a genetic level when a fungus becomes symbiotically dependent on a beetle? Does its genome shrink or enlarge? Does that make the fungus more or less adaptable in the future? By comparing the lengths of each genome, the scientists will be able to see if DNA has been lost or gained, which could help predict their chances of survival in a changing environment. This controversial little bug has raised many interesting questions about beetle-fungi coevolution. This groundbreaking research will show us how biological partnerships evolve on the genetic level, which will shed light on other complex relationships between microbes and animals. Understanding these delicate associations could help predict the future of these fascinating beetles.